For more on that story, let's go to Faisal Devji, an expert in modern South Asian history at Oxford University. He joins us now. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Can you give us a bit of background about the demonstration? I know it's been going on for 3 weeks, but can you expand about why people took to the streets this way?
There are at least a couple of things going on. One, there's a kind of virulent competition between different sectarian groups among Pakistani Muslims. So the group that's leading this set of protests has for the last few decades been, as it were, the underdog group in Pakistani militancy and has been overshadowed by another group, its great rival, called the Deobandis. So this is their way of actually making a statement and coming back and assuming, as it were, full spectrum visibility and dominance of the Pakistani media and citizenship. So that's one of the issues that's at play here. It's a rivalry between two sectarian groups, one of which is now claiming the militant upper hand. The other thing that's happening is that there's a kind of attempt to dislodge the civilian government altogether. Now, as your viewers may recall, not so long ago, the Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif was forced to step down over corruption allegations. And the interim Prime Minister, who has been set in his place, belonging to the same party, is now, it looks to me, like he's being gradually pushed out by instrumentalizing these mobilizations in Islamabad and now in other Pakistani cities like Karachi and Multan and Lahore. And this, of course, would set the stage for the return of the army to explicit leadership of the country.
All right, let me ask you then about demonstrations in general in Pakistan, Islamabad, as a focus here. How often are they happening? And if you say they're about bigger issues than just the legislation we were talking about, is it meant to in some way force an election, or is it just, as you say, meant to completely usher in more of a military presence?
Well, that's a very good question, because it seems to me that one of the top options in removing the government, which might be forced to resign due to these ever-growing demonstrations, might well have to do with declaring a new set of elections, out of which would emerge a leadership and a political party more attuned to and more sympathetic to the military. And that party is the Tehreek-e-Insaf Pakistan, led by the playboy cricketer of past decades, Imran Khan, who's known to be very close to the army. So that might be one of the things that's going on. Now, of course, I'm not arguing that the military has orchestrated this whole setup, this whole situation. On the contrary, this set of issues about the honor of the Prophet that is galvanizing people in Pakistan today, albeit from a very specific set of organizations and groups, dates back to the 1950s, when there was widespread mobilization to demand the resignation of an important Pakistani official who belonged to a group called the Ahmadis, who are thought to have impugned the honor of the Prophet. So there's a long tradition of this sort of mobilization, but in each case, the specifics are very different, and the political and indeed theological aims are quite different. In this case, it looks like there might be an attempt to instrumentalize these mobilizations, which I'm sure have many genuine and committed people in them, to work in the way of assuring the dominance of one sectarian group over the other, and to remove the civilian government altogether, or to win it sufficiently as to declare an election and get a more acceptable person in. I should add here that in the last number of years, there have been several such mobilizations over different matters. Some over the honor of the Prophet and others over different issues.
All right.
Such as corruption. And those, of course, are led by, your viewers may recall, a Canadian Pakistani cleric, Tahir al-Qadri. So there's a very important link to Canada in this set of issues as well.
All right, Faisal Devji, sir, I've got to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us today on the program.
Thank you very much.